Morocco. We're now in North Africa, in a country full of contrasts.
Vast empty landscape. Beaches. Ancient cities. And mountains.
Obviously, right in the middle, they put these military checkpoints. But more so, this vlog will be about food.
Because we are the worst food critics in the world.
And how's the lunch?
Good.
With half of our cameras confiscated at the Moroccan border, this promises to be yet again another crazy vlog. Let's go! We found the 3 goats!
RadicalTrips. Make your life great again.
Oh yeah!
This will be the movie the Moroccan government didn't want us to make. So, we arrived here last night, late at night, and coming with the boat from Spain, the Moroccan customs confiscated most of our camera equipment, along with our stabilizer microphones, 2 different systems, and even the emergency flares that indeed are something of fireworks, so I'll give him that.
We explained that we are tourists and we want to make pictures about Morocco and why that isn't allowed. They told us it is allowed, but just take a normal camera with you and not all this professional equipment. We tried someone higher in the hierarchy and they said no is no. I got a written form with the name of the driver, that's me, and all the things we left at the customs. And I hope that we are traveling back, that we get those things back.
But I was kind of disappointed, to say the least, because we want to make great movies, and the reason they took it away from us was that we didn't have a film permit. So what they don't like in Morocco are journalists, or at least film crews without supervision. And I have to say that sounds a lot like censorship to me. Obviously, we are not here to make political movies of any kind, right? So then why is there criticism? What is Morocco afraid of? Well, perhaps, I guess 2 things. For starters, they have a not so friendly neighbor, Algiers. I believe there's some type of civil war situation going on right there, with militant factions and clans and whatnot. But more so, Western Sahara are the 2 words that we are not allowed to speak out loud while in the country. They are extremely strict against people calling out the country, which they call the Southern provinces. After a very messy period 50 years ago, when the Spanish released it from Spanish Sahara into Western Sahara, Morocco took a land grab and claimed it as theirs ever since. Fought with the United Nations about it. There is landmines along the road to Mauritania. It's the biggest disputed territory in the world. So forget about West Bank or Gaza. It's like that, but a whole lot bigger with a whole lot of more sand. You even need to prepare these fishes, which you then have to print out. We have 30 of them for each, and you can give them away to the police officers and roadblocks and military personnel. So hopefully this will speed up the process to go through all the checkpoints. So that's why Morocco isn't too friendly for videographers like ourselves. The funny thing is, I did request a filming permit. I actually filed it a month ago. Moroccan Spirit, a road trip movie. I even made a whole description and synopsis about it, submitted it in French with the Centre Cinématographique Moroccan in Rabat. And they outright, well, not even refused the permission, but sent me on a goose hunt and told me to start contacting local Moroccan film companies to partner with, and then they might consider my application. So yeah, that's how far that went.
I'm blue, da-dee-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-dee.
Yo, listen up, here's the story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside. Blue his house with the blue little window and a blue Corvette. And everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around. 'Cause he ain't got nobody to listen.
We are filming this in a fairy tale house. I'm not joking, it got 5 different levels. Every level there is something like... Oh, another toilet.
And a little bathroom.
A kitchen.
That's also a way of doing dishes.
Oh, I was looking for glasses last night.
There they are.
Oh. A living room like this. A toilet where we put all our equipment because we didn't want to carry it last night up the stairs.
So the big box has been left behind, and I had to work with the light of my cell phone because the light is broken to get everything charged again. It was just madness carrying the big box and the big bags across these narrow alleyways, but it is a beautiful sight.
And everybody wants to help. It's only our first day here and already 6 people approached me because they wanted a little bit of money. There was a lady who said, I'm in your film, now I need money. There was a guy who wanted to carry our luggage to our house for money. Someone started telling about this beautiful city and I have to stop him because if I listen to him, he wanted money. Some guy helped us with parking. He made a nice official card with a stamp and a picture and a jacket on it was orange, so we paid him a little bit of money and now we hope he will protect the car.
So the solution we came up with, considering the whole sensitive political situation, is let's go the safe route. Everywhere in the world you can experience culture through cuisine.
This will be a movie about Moroccan food, brought to you by the worst critics in the whole world.
Which is us.
Definitely, without a doubt.
We cannot cook. We have no idea what we're doing. We like to eat. We really like to eat, you know, fine dining, snack bars and everything in between. But I get these little panic attacks when I see a menu at a restaurant with more than 10 options really. And good friends like Karel help me choose my food for me. If not cook my food for me. Not him of course, but the other ones. So this movie will be about food. What does a food critic do?
I have a strategy. I'm just gonna eat some food and I'm gonna rate it from 1 till 5. So 1 is really terrible. 5 is it cannot get better than that. That's my strategy.
Very good. Good strategy.
Last night the pizza was really good. I gave it a 5.
But I think our challenge will be to actually explain why it will be a 5 or a 0 or whatnot. Let's
try. Let's give it a try. We had one dinner in Morocco.
Dinner, snack at the pump station.
It was a really good pizza because there was a lot of chicken and a lot of cheese and there was
and a lot of grease
as well. Yes.
So easily a 5.
Yes. Yeah, of course it was a 5 because it's 5.
Yeah. So
Now we have some comparisons for pizza in Morocco.
This will be the worst food movie you ever saw. Thanks, you're sticking with it, and I hope you enjoy. We left the blue city behind us, driving through rural terrains and passing by small villages. Enjoy the laid-back vibe of these remote places, with their characteristic street life under the bright African sun. Escaping the bustling market outside, we decided to sit down for a coffee. As you can see, the bar's bathroom hygiene could have been better. But we did enjoy the company of the locals and their hospitality.
Food.
Moroccan food.
Everybody needs protein.
Moroccan food.
Protein. Protein.
Welcome to the KLRN's Foodvlog. Moroccan food.
Rens and Karel, the worst food critics of the whole world, with another review.
Hungry, Karel?
I'm really hungry.
We're here at a roadside restaurant next to a gas station. My first dish, a Moroccan salad.
Don't forget to rate it.
3 out of 5. Now, Mr. Food Critic, how's your chicken?
This is not chicken, this is called beef. And I give it a 4.5 out of 5.
But why? What about texture, the presentation, the flavor, the spices?
Seriously? I don't know.
And here's my fish. Yep, even starved street kitty likes the fish, and I do too. After this culinary spectacle, we got on the road again and we passed Rabat, halfway our long drive towards the very center of the country. We saw spectacular blue skies and appreciated this highway, knowing very well that those easy roads wouldn't last long once we move away again from Morocco's capital.
this time we go for the real quality food. How will the McDonald's be in Rabat comparison to the McDonald's in Amsterdam? We will find out. Rens and Karel, the worst food critics of the whole world, with another review. I'm not good in French, but I know the symbols. Take away, eat here. It looks the same as in Amsterdam, but there is one big difference.
You know what they put on French fries in Holland instead of ketchup? Or what? Mayonnaise?
There's no mayonnaise in Morocco.
I seen them do it, man. They fucking drown them in this shit. Yeah.
So I do it with mustard. Good. Yeah. Without a doubt, 5 out of 5. Yeah. 5 out of 5.
We quickly learned how not to plan our trip.
No, thank you.
Or rather, remembered our lesson because we made the same mistakes as we did in Ukraine, driving for over 10 hours on one day to get to our next destination. Not necessarily impossible if you have highways, but if you don't, before you know it, you are staring in the dark for hours, dodging cliff sides and donkeys. And then, quite unexpectedly, we woke up at a palace.
We ended up here by mistake. It was a good mistake because we couldn't find our contact person of the Airbnb location. So we found this beautiful palace with waterfalls and little bungalows and real Moroccan breakfast with lots of sugar. But it's okay because we are on holiday. We are now gonna look for the Ouzoud waterfalls. They are the second largest in Africa. Let's go.
We left for the famous Ouzoud waterfalls. Finding a guide is easy. In fact, if you dare to park nearby, they will find you. And they might tell you a tour is mandatory in order to access the area, which it isn't, but we preferred the company anyway. Our guide led us to a relatively quiet area on top of the mountain, giving us wide views of the valley deep down below and, of course, the falls. A nice playground for the macaque monkeys and a great decor for selfies. But it wouldn't be the first time a tourist took one step too far and didn't live to tell the tale. As Karel explained, these waterfalls are the second tallest in the whole of Africa, with 110 meters or 360 feet high. As is common in these kinds of places, the tour includes some traditional workshops with the inescapable gift shop. But overall, our upbeat guide presented some interesting views of Berber villages and peaceful trails. And after walking for about an hour, we entered the valley where we joined the hordes of tourists. Those were the Ouzoud waterfalls. We just ended our private tour. I did enjoy walking around the area with him. The advantage was that we could escape most of the crowds, because now, as we have seen and ended the tour right below the waterfalls, it is really like Disneyland. And I can't blame them, because it is a natural wonder. It's one of the most impressive sights of all of Morocco. And seeing the monkeys especially made a big impression on me. I made a friend. They're quite heavy, so that's also literal impression. They're all around us. They're very friendly. Luckily, it would be a problem if they would carry diseases and bite tourists. But I'm sure they have been trained over the decades, being fed and play nice, not steal anybody's cameras. We already lost a few cameras, so this is the one that I have to keep. So now we have an 8-hour drive ahead of us to the southern provinces of Morocco, and hopefully in 4 days' time it's Mauritania for us.
Rens and Karel, the worst food critics of the whole world, with another review.
Thank you.
This is our first Moroccan dish. Good. Wow. I give it a 6
Out of 5.
Yes, because when I compare it to the meat of yesterday, this is much better, so it's get a 6. Yes.
So you're already expanding the scales because you were too eager to give a 5 out of 5 yesterday.
Yes.
This dish is made up of potatoes and some vegetables, and underneath, in the middle, there is the meat.
The meat is not overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's a perfect beef in comparison to the other ingredients of this wonderful meal.
And it's spiced quite alright without being spicy, which I hate. I also am a very bad food critic. But we have to try. Dakhla Foodvlog. Food. We eat it. Food. You see it. Food. With Ouzoud and the Middle Atlas mountain range behind us, we headed for the coast. We noticed the landscape changing. Bending roads straightened. The soil dried up and vegetation became scarce.
Rens and Karel, the worst food critics of the whole world, with another review.
I think we have a problem because this meat is so good. Definitely an 8 on a scale of 1 to 5.
An 8 on a scale from 1 to 5, alright. And we were afraid of ordering here, or at least we were uncomfortable because we didn't spoke any French. There was no menu to choose from. The guy was pointing at meat, asking how much, 1 kilogram. Quite difficult to make up our minds. But now, I'm glad we did. This is amazing. That 8-star quality food powered our final leg of today's journey. Deep at night, we arrived at our location using some questionable roads. And despite the late hour, the wonderful hotel manager and some of his friends insisted on helping us with our stuff. And we wondered, how would this place look like in the morning sunlight?
Good morning, Rens. Wake up, look outside, and tell me what you think.
With the hotel hotel built directly onto the beach, it really did look spectacular. And the rooftop terrace was just too nice not to take advantage of. A bit further to the south, we went to see Legzira beach. While in a touristic area, it was very quiet. We were offered some transportation to the big attraction.
Hello. I'm good. Hello, nice to meet you.
But our feet could use the exercise.
We found it, this miracle of nature.
Rens and Karel, the worst food critics of the whole world, with another review.
I asked the guy to recommend me one of his 8 versions of the tagine, which is one of the Moroccan traditional dishes. We went for the octopus one.
First impression, on a scale of 1 to 5.
That's a 4.
This morning at breakfast, we only had sugar and fats, so I get some eggs with cheese. It's a good source of protein.
Everybody needs protein.
It's definitely a 3.3 on a scale of 1 to 5. 3.3.
With way too much time wasted relaxing, we left in the afternoon for our long drive towards, well, depending on who you'd ask, either Morocco's southern provinces or the country of Western Sahara.
Alright, let go.
Just look at where we are. It's the beginning of the Sahara. We've been driving for like 4 hours through already wasteland. There's nothing there, only straight road. A couple of police checkpoints, of course, because they are everywhere. Already in the rest of Morocco, so obviously also here with the conflict and everything.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Even a little house. Somewhere around here, on top, yeah. A guy looking at us and dogs barking, so it's not totally desolated. That's the funny thing. I've even saw fishermen here and there with an SUV parked out in the vastness. Every now and then it's cars passing by, but not a whole lot. There's the ocean. And what's really impressive is that we see here yet again, and we saw it a couple of times, enormous natural walls of sorts. It seems like a defense. You can tell, well, there was a river here once, now it's dried up. And previous times when we went through these corridors, obviously right in the middle, they put these military checkpoints. Like the serious ones, and the guys with the scopes and all hidden at the roadside. A couple of meters ahead, policemen checking, asking questions, where we're from. Ajax, Amsterdam. They all speak that language. Let's continue. We'll get dark soon. We have too many kilometers still to cover. Every day we have done too many things. We had to catch up and sleep enough hours and then get going again. And then it's supposed to take 6 hours and then it turns out to be 9 because roadblocks and terrible road conditions. So yeah, what you gonna do?
For hours and hours, we had to traverse some very dangerous roads with unpredictable sandhills and rapid oncoming traffic. But we got to Laayoune safely. Founded in the 1940s, Spain designated the city as the capital of Spanish Sahara, which later became Western Sahara. It's still the largest city with a population of almost 250,000 people.
Rens and Karel, the worst food critics of the whole world, with another review.
Spicy juice.
Our body is a temple. That's why we have water instead of cola.
And that's why I got a whole box of proteins.
Everybody's protein.
Big cheese, fumu. My temple is happy.
Yes. McDonald's as it's supposed to be, 5 out of 5 without a doubt.
I concur, 5 out of 5. They say boil it, cook it, peel it or forget it. So bananas are always a safe choice, as is McDonald's of course, if you want to avoid travel sickness. So we stacked up on bananas and off we go.
Let's go.
Having hit the #1 attraction in Laayoune, we were ready to head south. Google Maps gave us some navigation headaches, but we did manage to escape the city. Onward to Dakhla. Road quality was all over the place. From wide to narrow, to okay, to not that great, to no road at all. Although, admittedly, they do try to keep up with all the moving sand. Then there was the weather. 90% of the time it was pleasantly hot, especially because of the strong breeze. But sometimes it's different.
Finally, the first camels. Oh, it's windy. There's nothing here except for Karel. And a bunch of camels.
And once you've seen one camel, you'll find that there are plenty. Really a lot actually. They're not shy nor scared. They couldn't care less about us being there. Minding their own business, and so did we.
Ça va bien.
Destination?
Tam-tam. Tam-tam. Merci.
C'est bon, c'est bon, c'est bon.
Finally, we made it to the most southern city before Mauritania, Dakhla. Located on a 50 kilometers long narrow peninsula of the Atlantic coast, it's world famous for kitesurfing on the flat water lagoon.
Food.
Moroccan food.
Everybody needs protein.
Moroccan food.
Protein. Protein.
Welcome to the Karel en Rens Foodvlog. Moroccan food.
Rens and Karel, the worst food critics of the whole world, with another review.
This is a really nice restaurant in downtown Dakhla, near the sea. It's beautiful. And they've put up this huge sign for us to choose from, which is nice, but it's not really convenient because now we cannot point Google Translate towards the thing and have it, find the text because it's handwritten. So can't have it all. First response?
On a scale of 1 to 5, 22.
22.
Yeah, man.
That looks amazing.
This spectacle concludes our very bad food reviews. The other dishes were good as well, but we wanted to end on a high note. Leaving Dakhla and its weird, gigantic teapot behind, we made our way back northward. We crossed the desert once more to enter the unambiguous part of Morocco and headed towards Agadir for one last overnight stay. We picked a stylish place, to say the least. In the midst of an oasis, a serene hotel was built, which again we appeared to have all for ourselves. A great breakfast and some healthy discussions later, we began on the final leg of our trip. Looking for our destination, which actually wasn't easy to pinpoint. Rather, we only knew roughly which area to start scouting in and therefore needed to pay close attention to the roadside.
Beautiful landscape. But a very dangerous road.
These were the trees we had on our minds. We parked the little red car and set out to find the phenomenon we thought was hilarious and we had to see for ourselves. And we were on the right track. We checked with the herders whether they were okay with us being there and paid them a small fee for their trouble.
So here they are, famous Moroccan tree goats that are there to actually get some berries or nuts that are hidden in the fruits within the tree, and usually they will try to get it as low-hanging fruit just from the floor, but after they've completed all of those, they will get up into the tree and score the best ones on top. It's really funny, and it's a true Moroccan sight. And I actually think goats are super funny to begin with. So seeing them play around in the tree with even some additional camels in the background, that is a remarkable sight.
And with the tree goats finishing their meals, this vlog also must come to an end. We hope you've got to experience Morocco in all its variety and are eager to join us on our next adventure. Au revoir!